Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, what is up? The king of lightning is here today, bringing you guys and gals Berserk 2016. Why the fuck do I sound hyped? No! Oh god, no, the animation, no, oh my no. Listen, episode 1, I saw hope in it, okay? I really did. Because I'm like, it's weird, but it's not bad. Episode 2, I'm like, oh, you know what, fuck. Shit. I may have to recant the whole not bad portion. It's just weird, man. Oh god, like there's... Oh no! Like there was one scene where Puck, after he frees Guts is running through the tents in the middle of the night, and Puck is watching Guts run away. And that scene, I was like, ooh. Ooh. Like it's cringe, man. It's a massively cringe moment in the episode. Oh man, my god. And the problem here is, okay, before I go any further with the animation, let me say this. So, on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and even Monday, I was fairly busy. Hectic days for me, so I couldn't get to a live reaction of the episode, which I will do this week for episode 3. That being said, animation. Let's start here. As animation overall, real-time animation it's too weird, man. It's just funky, it's wonky. Like, there are some good moments here or there, but overall, it's just not really appealing. Like, it's not visually appealing. Though granted, the flashbacks were actually good. And honestly, the people that did the flashbacks should be doing the real-time animation. How on earth do you have flashback scenes that are better animated than real-time? It's inconceivable. How does that happen? I'm watching the flashbacks, and visually, I'm enjoying the flashbacks far more than the actual real-time material. No. The studio that does Berserk, Gemba, I think it's called, they need to, take like a year off. Say, you know what, okay, listen, we kind of fucked up. Because the animation is not good. And it's Berserk, and Berserk deserves better on a consistent basis. So, how about we kind of scrap this, we reanimate this shit, right? And then we come back next year looking all fresh. Like, that's what I would like to see. Because right now I'm kind of like, ooh. Now that's my take at this point in time. And also I did notice how in the flashbacks, I'm nitpicking here, but Casca is like Snow White now. Like her skin color was like this. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, dude, what? Oh, like she got the Robin treatment. Her skin was just bleached. I'm like, is that Casca? I was like, who the fuck are you? I'm pretty sure Guts did not stick his dick in you. I'm almost certain it's the wrong woman. She was more on the browner side. For every series of Berserk, whether it be the original anime, whether it be the actual manga itself, though it's black and white, but when it actually draws the colors, her skin is, more brownish. When it comes to the movies, it's always been that way. That's never changed. And then in this series, just like, it's really noticeable. It's not a big deal, but it just kind of shocked me. Like, it shocked me alongside with how bad the animation was on average when it comes to the real-time shit. When you have Farnese, I call it Farnese, but it's Farnese. When Farnese has the torture utensil to rip off skin when you whip. I don't know what it's called. But when she's hitting Guts with it, I'm kind of like, this is not, no. Like it just, Even when it comes to the fight scenes, like the fight when they surrounded Guts, the Iron Holy Chain Knights, or no, the Holy Iron Chain Knights. And then out comes Azan, right? He comes out there, he does his thing. Even then, it was kind of like, what's... And this is where I'm seeing how they do have very good depth, but they're sacrificing a lot of the quality of the animation because they're focusing predominantly on depth. In episode 1, it wasn't that noticeable, but in episode 2, it is very noticeable, especially when you have amazing, okay, not amazing, but especially when you have good flashback scenes, and then you have the real time where it's like, Okay, so moving on. So that's number one, animation overall. I mean, it needs work. Episode 2, when it comes to the pacing and the structure, it was relatively simple. You have the beginning part where they surround Guts. Guts fights him off, but he's wounded, then he gets captured. Then he's taken to the main tent where Farnese is. He gets questioned, but Guts, he winds up mind-fucking her. Ultimately, she's empty inside, and she then goes on a rampage because she knows that he's right. Even calls out the god that she believes in. He's like, no, I'm not talking about gods that don't do shit. Because, I mean, he's seen the god hand. He's seen his best friend become a deity, essentially. So when it comes to gods, I'm pretty sure Guts knows a lot more than she does, because she's probably read from some book or she's been indoctrinated in some type of belief system. And you can see, because you can see it behind her, is that symbol, like the bird, like the wings open, like the 2 orbs beneath the bird, something like that. And of course, that's going to play a major role later on, because she was doing this for the high C or the high say, like someone that is of high status within this cult or this religion. The next thing here, Guts, he is put back in prison, but he escapes via Puck, and afterwards, he sees Farnese. She's whipping herself as a means of punishment. And I think it was alluded to better in the manga, obviously, where in the manga, she gets called out for being empty. At the same time, she gets called out for treating her subordinates, even Azan, the dude that's relatively famous among the knights. Guts calls out her for treating him like a beggar or like a servant, you know, like someone, like treating him with like no respect. And then I think when she is whipping Guts, she, I think, gets like aroused by it. Like when she is staring at the wounds, and then like she takes the torch utensil and like she's poking him again, like the chest. In the manga, there's a blush there. I believe so. Like I think she actually gets aroused by hitting Guts. And so when she's like repenting in the middle of the night, it's because of a host of things, not just because Guts called her empty. And then she went on a rampage for a few seconds. It's more to it than that, as far as I remember. That's the structure, that's the pacing, relatively simple and straightforward. When it comes to the story progression, essentially Guts gets captured and then Guts frees himself. And then it's not that simple. Guts gets captured, Guts frees himself, and then we have new characters come to the fold who are relatively important. And then we learn about the Iron Holy Chain Knights and how they were doing this because they were told by the higher-ups of this cult, this religion, to go and find the Hawk of Darkness. Farnese believes that the Hawk of Darkness is Guts, which is the reason why she captured him in the first place. So ultimately speaking, Guts is like, you know what, I have no idea why you guys want to capture me. I didn't do anything that would deserve the hierarchy of this religion to come and get me. Either way, Guts escapes, and then he's being chased down by Sir Pico. However, the nighttime spirits have come out to play, the nighttime incubi. So they're here, and you can see how they're chasing Guts, and they pass Sir Pico, and Sir Pico, he can see them, he's like, what the? And that's where it ends off. Finally, the last part of this review is going to be characterization, and for characterization, there are a few things here that are important to note. So number one, we do have Puck, and Puck, as he frees Guts, he explains to Guts that elves have a very strong sense of responsibility. Now, the problem here is that at this point in time, in the manga, in actuality, the connection between Guts and Puck is quite strong. And it's not as lighthearted as, well, we have a strong sense of responsibility. No. Because Puck was just introduced into the story in episode 1 in this new series, the characterization, the character interaction between Guts and Puck is extraordinarily limited, which really sucks. So when Puck just tells Guts, well, I just have a strong sense of responsibility, instead of fucking with Guts, like he fucks with Guts on a regular basis. And this was a perfect chance for Puck to fuck with Guts. And he does so in the manga. But in the anime, well, I'm gonna free you because I have a strong sense of responsibility. Like, what? Like, it's shallow. I'm not saying that it's bad when it comes to the anime in of itself. but compared to the manga, it's really fucking shallow. Number 2 is Sir Pico. The man is very perceptive. He did throw a log at Guts' knee at one of his wounded areas as Guts was charging Farnese, and this allowed her to get a stab on Guts right here. Even though her eyes were closed, you can't see me, just luck shot right there, but it's because Sir Pico intervened clearly. So he threw a log at his leg, and then his leg buckled, stab, and you can see after Guts falls down, after he collapses, he's holding his hand going like this, so he threw it obviously. Finally, he was the only person that was actually on a mount to chase after Guts and try and get Farnese back. And you see him at the end of the episode with a crossbow ready to aim. But as he's aiming, he looks around and he sees the evil spirits around him. So that's Sir Pico, very perceptive, very sharp. The next character is Azan, who is a fairly loyal, fairly old school dude who has no problems having a one-on-one bout in the middle of a battle, even if it's like one against like 50 people. On top of that, there's even a story involving him and a bridge and how he was protecting an old man, or he was trying to escort an old man across the bridge, and how these knights were in the way and he stood in their way like 100 some odd knights. So the man, he is very loyal, he is very chivalrous, and he is a knight in full. Then finally you have Farnese, who is the commander of the Holy Iron Chain Knights. In fact, you know what? When it comes to characterization, the knights themselves, apparently they're like pseudo-nobles, or like they're from noble families. They're relatively spoiled, and they themselves have not experienced that much actual hardcore combat, if any. So when they try to take on Guts, with his fake arm alone, is just smashing the shit out of them. So, I mean, with the exception of Sir Pico, Azan, those two, who you can tell clearly have skill, the rest of them are just scrubs, including Farnese herself. But getting back to Farnese, she is, again, the commander of the Holy Iron Chain Knights. She's also someone that's fairly religious, and she believes with utmost faith what her perception of God is. Of course, Guts calls her out on that because he's seen Godhand, he's seen Griffith become a deity-ish figure known as Femto. So when it comes to gods that don't do shit, he's not interested at all. And so this triggers her, and when she gets triggered, she goes on a rampage and whatnot. So even though she is a fairly faithful woman, she is someone that doesn't have a strong foundation in her faith, to where even Guts' own words, they make her falter in her beliefs, like extremely so. And then after that, she repents by whipping herself. So you can see how she is fully immersed in her belief to where she's even willing to repent. And then finally, it is when she gets captured by Guts. And then she is on Guts' horse. You have Puck, he's in her face, but she can't see him. And that's very interesting. She can't see the elf Puck. So why that's the case, we're not too sure. But we're going to find out at some point in the future, no doubt about it. So that being said, overall, when it comes to characterization, when it comes to the over episode, I thought it was like a subpar plus to okay. Like, it does have its ups in all honesty, but right now my biggest issue is the animation, which in many scenes was massively cringe-worthy. Like, ugh, yikes, like what am I, ooh. Like, I hope no one is watching me watch this. Like, that's how I felt when I saw those scenes. So, subpar plus to okay. So that being said, I'm done. King Lightning, rate the video, comment, and subscribe as always. Do whatever the fuck you want to do. Peace. Have a nice goddamn day.